burning, burning, taking me higher, making me want her. In so many ways, every time I think about that lovely lady, she takes me away. 'Cause I know doesn't need a diamond ring. I know that she doesn't need material things. If I could only make her understand all she's got in me, I wanna be her man. I know that in the end we were out on a line, but all I know is for the most part pretty.
All right, welcome back to The Link on a somewhat rainy Monday morning. Please, please, please be safe, everyone. We love each and every one of you, and we want to make sure that wherever you are going today on Guam's thoroughfares, you get there safely. We're going to bring on our friends from the National Weather Service after the 8 o'clock hour and find out what is up with the weather. But right now, we are talking about the environment in a different context, and I would probably say, completely biased here, Peggy Denney has taught me more about environmentalism, recycling, being a good steward of the environment than 1,000 textbooks ever could. So we are bringing in the lovely Miss Peggy, who we, by the way, have not had on the show in a great long time. So Peggy, welcome back.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to join you guys.
Well,
and it has been a little while, so I'm very happy that we can kind of update people on what's happening, particularly with iRecycle.
Well, there are only two real certain things, at least that I know of and everything, is tax season comes every year at April 15th, and Peggy is always working. You're always jamming on something for the island and for the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you had going on since last we spoke?
Primarily, I'm trying to reach out to people to encourage them to let me know if they've stockpiled bags of cans. You just call me 483-9415 and I will come get them, because the community involvement and their contribution to the specific schools has waned a bit, due to COVID and people's uncertainty about whether the schools are open or whether they can take their cans to the schools. And there's even some misunderstanding even at the schools themselves as to whether iRecycle is continuing. And of course it is, so I just want to encourage people to, if you are challenged, if you have no vehicle and with which to transport, hopefully a truckload of bags of cans, then call me and I will come get them. I'm going to get some in Santa Rita this morning. So that'll help me work on the bin at Southern High School. So it's really important because there are still a lot of cans going into the landfill.
And this is not a new endeavor by you, Peggy, but by any stretch of the imagination. You've been doing this kind of thing for a very, very long time. I'm sure your odometer on your car has been at 6 digits for a very, very long time.
Well, I tell you, since we last spoke, Triple J donated a new to me and an awesome truck, a 2014 Ford F-150. I've already put 8,000 miles on it, but I had 150,000 miles on my older truck, which was only a year older, but it looked much worse. So this one is great, and it's larger and I can haul more. So I just love it.
Well, Peggy, you know this better than anyone, obviously, but when it comes to the state of recycling in our community, right? I can only guess based on, estimation, right? That everyone being over the last year and a half, being forced to stay home, not going out as much as we normally do, there would be a greater accumulation, I'm assuming, of waste in the homes. But obviously there would be a greater reduction in waste at the industrial level, and businesses didn't have the customers they normally do, so they wouldn't be producing. So how is the amount of trash that we're generating, and more to your life's work and everything like that, how has recycling been, and what is the state of recycling on Guam today?
Well, I think that we're still incredibly challenged. It's I'm on the GSWA board, and so I have access to data that we collect, and it's dismaying, to say the least, that the contamination rate for the curbside recycling program is somewhere around 60 to 70%. So that means that 60 to 70% of what people put in their bins is wrong, is not recyclable. Now, it is challenging because we can't recycle plastics or paper, at least currently. We have not, the agency has not issued, a directive to its customers that they should not put plastic or paper in the recycling bin because we didn't want to change people's habits. But many people are using it as a second trash bin.
Right.
Now, if they would really try to be conscientious, I mean, we're not talking rocket science here. Basically, we're talking about aluminum cans, which really should go to the schools, metal cans, and cardboard. Those are the three that definitely can be recycled. Because they didn't want to change people's habits, you can still put in there, we're still accepting plastics 1 and 2 and paper. But see, unfortunately, that's being separated out and weighed so that we have data on how much is being put in there, how much is being disposed of in the bins, but then it ends up in the landfill. So we just really, really need people to try to be conscientious about this. If you are separating out the appropriate recyclables, then you should have considerably less trash than you would otherwise. So you don't need another trash bin. So that's kind of, I mean, there are obviously a lot of people who are recycling and we appreciate it tremendously. But when there's that level of contamination, it's more labor on the part of Guam Waste Control because they have employees that have to sort through all that. And then there's an increase in waste that goes into the landfill as opposed to being diverted and being recycled.
Well, Peggy, as long as I've been interviewing you, more than 2 decades and everything like that, I know that one recurring theme that you have always preached has been, getting people in the right mindset, and specifically this notion of a youth movement, and making sure that it's not, you have people like, old fogies like me, who probably had bad recycling habits or no recycling habits whatsoever, but actually getting the next generation, the millennials and the Gen Zers and everything like that, to actually make it endemic for them to say, like, I know what I have to do when I dispose of waste and I do it the right way. You're not breaking their mindset. You're actually giving them sound, responsible behavior patterns, like right off the bat. So where are we with like getting young people to do what's right for the planet, and how do you get people of my generation to actually adopt a more responsible frame of mind?
Well, I think the challenge right now with respect to the youth is the impacts of the pandemic and how that has impacted their ability to attend school, and the environmental clubs that the schools might have. They've pretty much become dormant because they can't meet, they can't really work on things. And so that aspect of the recycling effort and kind of inculcating this mindset, is in kind of a dormant state. That's why I'm trying to work so hard to continue to fill the bins at all 48 schools, because they're not getting the support from the community or even the faculty, staff, and students at the schools. And then, I don't know, education, knowledge is so important. And if people can read more, just learn more, educate themselves about the status of the earth in general, but Guam in particular, and the volume of waste. I mean, well over 500,000 pounds goes into the landfill every day, and which to my mind is rather appalling. So to really make an effort to implement the 3 R's. Jason, what are the 3 R's?
Reuse, recycle, and It's always the first two I can know: reuse, recycle, reduce.
Yes, but see, reduce, reuse, recycle, they are in their order of importance. Okay, so first you want to reduce, you want to lessen the amount of waste that you're generating, and then you want to reuse as much as you possibly can, and then you recycle. That is an incredibly important mindset, and that we really need to grasp and implement in our lives.
Absolutely. Well, Peggy, we do have a caller that's actually called, and a gentleman is on the line right now, has a question for you, if you don't mind taking it. I believe. Sir, good morning. Welcome to the link. I believe you have a comment for Miss Peggy Denney about burning, is it?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Talking about reducing, you need to educate the people of Guam that reducing doesn't mean taking your plastic and your rubber and your trash and taking it outside and burning it. That's what you need to do, is educate the people of Guam, because, you know, there'll be times I'm driving around, I can smell rubber in the air, I can smell plastic, and you know what? People don't understand. Every time you burn plastic or any type of that type of material, you're emitting cyanide in the air. And when it rains acid. So, you know, you could talk all you want about recycling and all that, but, you know, you need to educate the people. Stop burning trash. Stop burning plastic. They're killing the people here.
I think that's a very fair point. And sir, can I get your name, please, sir? Your first name?
My name is Billy.
Billy. Okay, Billy. Thanks so much for the call. Okay,
So,
Peggy.
you know, please.
Yes, sir.
Educate the people. That's all you got to do. We're all dying. I'm telling you, we're all dying if this keeps it up. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you so much for the call. Peggy, I would say that's a fair point made by Billy. And, you know, I grew up, at least, you know, and even at my age, as I was saying, my generation, we knew that if someone was burning something and there was black smoke, that was pretty much like a no-no 9 times out of 10. That's not something that you do, because that can be very, very dangerous. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. And it's important for everyone to understand that particularly when plastics are burned, then that can create dioxins and other carcinogens. And so it is not a habit that we should promote or allow. And really, I mean, particularly in certain seasons when it's particularly dry, you're supposed to have a permit to burn. You know, I don't think I encourage people to not burn at all, even vegetation. I would much rather see them compost that than burn it. You know, so I mean that's been a challenge for decades and decades on Guam.
Okay, is that part of your educational message? You know, to Billy's point, like he was calling for, I guess for a greater marshaling of that message to go out to the community. Is that something that you speak about a lot?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I certainly try to address. And oftentimes people will say, well, can't we just burn it? And I say, no. You know, you separate out, employ the 3 R's, and you can have a huge impact on the amount of trash that you generate that has to go into the landfill. But you should never burn.
Okay, Peggy, I do have an online comment now. This comes from Natalia, and she's asking, because you did mention your can collection initiative and everything, and Natalia asked, is it soda cans, I guess beverage cans, that Miss Peggy is collecting, or are you also collecting food cans as well, I guess, you know, for soups and beans and what have you?
Okay, if someone has cans and they need assistance, I will come pick them up. If they have both the metal cans, let me just make a quick distinction. If you have a can, if you're holding a can and you can't crush it with your hands, then you know it's not aluminum. But see, those can be recycled as scrap metal, but they really need to be separated. I mean, I get bags all the time that will have aluminum cans and metal cans and sometimes lots of other stuff. And I end up having to spend quite a bit of time sorting, you know, so that only the aluminum beverage cans go into the iRecycle bin. We also have people, I mean, sometimes I'll pick up bags and there will be foil trays and aluminum foil and Vienna sausage and Spam, and those can all be recycled as aluminum, but because they have different melting points, they cannot go in the iRecycle bin. So if somebody really if they want to recycle and they don't have the wherewithal to take it to a facility, I will come pick it up, but I encourage them, I beg them to separate it because then I can take care of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Peggy, I want to talk about UOG and what they're doing, and specifically how they're enabling the mayors with recycling for just a moment. But I just had a thought. You've got such an amazing life experience, and I live my life through the lens of movies, right? If a movie was going to be made about your mission and what you've been able to do over the course of decades here on Guam, who plays you in a movie? I'm thinking Meryl Streep, Gwyneth Paltrow, Taylor Swift, perhaps, or.
Well, I don't really watch that many movies, but someone who's passionate about caring for the environment in their own lives, I think that would be an appropriate individual.
Well, Chris Barnett right now said he thinks Helen Mirren would actually do a really good job playing you. So, she's played the Queen of England and she plays the Queen of Guam Recycling. So I think that would be absolutely apropos.
I think she could do an amazing job.
Absolutely.
She's wonderful.
Okay, so to wrap up, let's talk about what's happening with UOG and how the mayors are benefiting from that.
Yeah, this is going to be so awesome. So the bins, we have bins that are going to house 3 55-gallon drums, one for aluminum cans, one for metal cans, one for glass, because those are the things that we can recycle. And just let me touch quickly on glass because Mr. Rubbishman, Guahan Waste Control, has purchased a glass pulverizer, and so they will be accepting glass. So I'm going to take all the glass to them. So, and that glass, the larger particle size, will be used for base course and road construction as a substitute for aggregate, limestone aggregate. But getting back to the program, so these bins have already been manufactured. They're being shipped to Guam, and one will be placed at each of the mayor's offices, and iRecycle will be in charge of that whole thing. So all the cans, all the aluminum cans that are generated in each village will go to the schools in that village. All the metal cans, all the glass will be taken to recycling facilities. So this is very exciting, and I think it will start in the next month or two.
Absolutely. So we would love to have you back, and as this program comes closer and closer to execution, we'd love to have you here, and more importantly, to find out how more people can help, because many hands make light work, and we would like to see you have an entire army of people behind you so that we can get this thing done. Because you've always been someone with the knowledge of a PhD and the tenacity of a honey badger when it comes to like recycling on Guam. And that's the highest praise I can give you. You've always been so inspiring.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But it's I'm really excited about this program because for people who have the ability to take something to the mayor's office, but don't have the ability or the wherewithal to take it to a transfer station, this is going to help them tremendously, I think. So I'm really looking forward to its implementation. All
right, Peggy. Well, we appreciate your energy, your enthusiasm, your leadership, and most important, your friendship and what you do for the island. So thank you very much. And please be safe. Have a wonderful day. It was good to see you.
Always. Thank you so much, Jason. Have an awesome day, everyone.
All right, take care. That's Peggy Denney with iRecycle. Everybody join her on her mission because she is doing really, really good work. And stay tuned because we'll be back with more Link right after this on a Monday. Stay tuned.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes,